feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hi everyone, welcome if you are new here and you're my Patreon subscribers. Welcome my little astronauts. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. If you guys like the background, I'm happy if you do. This is supposed to be a calming background. For today's video, we're going to be covering Hurricane Ida. Whether or not it's going to be like Hurricane Katrina. I had a feeling today when I read on it that it was, but I didn't really state that. I kind of mentioned Hurricane Katrina in today's video and COVID-19 update video. If you have not checked that out, go check that out. Everything in that video is timestamped in the description. We're going to get a little clip of what I said in that video, and I'll pull that up in a moment. Before we do, I just want to take the quick disclaimers as well. This is August 28, 2021 at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when I am recording this. If you guys are interested in booking a reading with me, just check the description below. You can find that there. Here are some quick disclaimers that you will see on your screen. I wanted to do this for the people living in Louisiana. This is actually, believe it or not, my first time covering hurricanes on my channel, despite all the natural disasters that I do. So I'm very excited. And yeah, let's see what we have in store for today. If you have not already, please check the description below. I have my brand new channel called What If Tarot, and I highly recommend check it out. There's no videos uploaded yet, but there will be. So, of course, if you're interested, let's pull up what I did earlier today, and it says, Catherine Bush asked, "What is the damage from a hurricane that is going to hit Louisiana?" So let's take a look and see what I said, and we'll go off from there. Catherine, I'm gonna make sure you guys can be able to hear that correctly. So let me just put internal. All right, perfect. It's both internal. Your question is not related to today's topic, but since the hurricane is coming and I have not mentioned it, I do normally do natural disasters. I'm making an exception for you. So just give me a moment. You guys are really trying to do a lot of questions today. I never had this many people ask questions. Okay, so spirits and angels, tell me, what is the damage from the hurricane that is hitting Louisiana? Okay, flooding. Yeah, there's going to be flooding. A lot of flooding. All right, so we have here in the past, we have a lot of flooding going on. You kind of see here, this is the average human being in terms of height. And you can kind of see all the water coming. I feel like there's going to be a massive flooding. I feel like a lot of the parts of the state, maybe New Orleans, going to be sunk in water. We have here as well, we have the King of Wands. And then this is going to be on part of the governor or the state representatives of Louisiana. I do feel like they're playing a major role in this. The way they handle it will determine whether or not they get reelected. We have here as well as we have the moon. It feels like there's only a little bit of land, but you can kind of see the buildings are underwater. I'm sensing a lot of water surrounding Louisiana. We have here as well, we have the Ace of Cups. It won't be a terrific flood. It won't be like what happened during Katrina, but I'm sensing there's going to be some sense of flood, at least mild flooding. And we have here, this will be probably your fourth hurricane, potentially. I think that's what it is. Let's just take a look at Earth magic quickly and just kind of see what Earth is going through. We have your childhood. It's going back to innocence. It's going to try to clear out a lot of people's homes to try to bring them back to the main part of understanding what it means. Okay. We're going to move that for a second while it plays in the background with no noise. I apologize. You all have to witness that. Okay. All right. So I just want to quickly say, I'll edit that little clip out. But when I said the hurricane, I want to reiterate what I think. And now I'm reading it again. I'm listening and rewatching it. I completely misunderstood it. So the Four Cups, that card represents when I'm getting it based on my intuition, watching it again, represent Hurricane level 4. So it means Hurricane level 4. And when I said mild flooding, I don't know why I said mild. It was heavy flooding because you can clearly see there's very little bit of land. We're covered in water, so there's going to be a lot of flooding. Let's see what else that I said. Oh, and by the way, I also said childhood clearing. That basically means clearing out almost everybody within the state. So we'll do some more reading on that, of course, today. But I just wanted to iterate what I meant. All right, let me put that back onto your screen right now. And of course, Oklahoma. We have here fairies, earth magic. This is again something that's supposed to happen with divine timing. And we have green man synergy. It's going to bring back a lot of native species. I feel like there's going to be a brand new ecosystem that's going to come out of this earthquake. Out of this hurricane, excuse me. I'm glad you appreciate my explanation. But you got to ask a lot of questions. Okay, so that is what we got for today. Let me just make sure you can hear me with the audio. Guys, can you hear me? Is it clear? Can you actually hear me? Let me know in the live chat. All right, so basically, that was a really bad interpretation of today's video. I would edit a lot of those out because we had no audio, and I forgot that there was no audio on, so I apologize. But let's get to the main part of today's video, which is talking about Hurricane Ida. Let's take a look. Will it be like Hurricane Katrina? Because I didn't ask that. Okay, Spirit Sands will tell me, will it be like Hurricane Katrina? Actually, I should get the Mermaid Tarot out. I didn't feel like that would be better. We have Oceanic Tarot. I feel like this would be the... Okay. This is what happens when you buy from Facebook and people sell broken items. You don't even realize until you get it and too late. You can't return it. Don't buy from Facebook. Promise me. Because it's horrible. But anyway, let me see. All right, so Spirit Sands will tell me, what do we need to know about Hurricane Ida in the ocean? What do we need to know about Hurricane Ida? Really, you're Washington? Really interesting, because I didn't even know there was a hurricane. I didn't even know the hurricane was coming to hit New York till like last minute. Let's see. Spirit Sands will tell me, what do we need to know about Hurricane Ida? Okay. Well, actually, let me just do Hurricane Ida as a general, then we'll ask about whether or not it's going to be like Hurricane Katrina. Okay, this is a very beautiful deck for a card I never really used. All right, so we have the Justice card. This is very interesting because for a long time, Louisiana hasn't had a very bad hurricane quite like this. The last time they had one was actually, believe it or not, Hurricane Katrina with the massive flooding, and I think it was ignored by George Bush. I really don't remember. Again, I was a child back then, and I still am technically, but anyway. We have the Hanged Man, Limbo. We have balance here. They were pretty balanced in the past. However, they're going to be in limbo. And it feels like what it's going to do is going to turn the state of Louisiana upside down. I do see a lot of damage. Potentially, I do see a lot of buildings will be destroyed. A lot of buildings will be destroyed. A lot of people will be moving from different places. I feel like a lot of the land is going to be dissipated, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with rising sea levels. Now, again, this is the full moon, so we're also going to be taking that as well. We have here the Two of Pentacles. What this is telling me here is that there's going to be a lot of animals. I have a feeling that whatever gets flooded is just pointing toward what is going to maintain. So basically speaking, is that whatever in terms of flooding wise that we're seeing right now, so whatever places and areas that flood during this hurricane is indicating where the sea level is going to rise when all the icebergs start to dissipate. So that is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing as it may either the water may just stay there and never leave, and it may be at that height now, or I'm also seeing as well that is just a warning sign of where it's going to be in the next decade or so. We have here as well, let me put it back on the light for you. Oops. Is we have the Queen of Wands, right? And it's talking about passion, right? The passion is changing the drive and where Louisiana is headed. So it's going to alter it. The potentially a political status. It's going to change a lot in the state. And I would not be surprised if Louisiana is the first state to go underwater, like permanently. That's what I'm seeing here. We have here as well, get the Two of Cups. This is partnership. It really takes partnership across the country to really come together for Louisiana and the surrounding states. Because if it doesn't, I have a feeling Louisiana is going under and it won't come back up. almost like Atlantis. It kind of gives you the energy of Atlantis a bit. Because we have here, as well as we have the Eight of Wands here. And this is travel. A lot of people are going to have to travel away from their home. Like, it almost feels like areas that where there's only a small area of water is going to be more water. So maybe Mississippi, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and of course Texas are going to have more water. We also have here, so we have the Knight of Wands, defense. You're going to have to defend the land. This is going to be the test of the United States. It's going to be the biggest test the United States is going to have to face in terms of climate change and its policies. We have here as well, we have the Ten of Wands. It's this responsibility. And I've used this deck many times, so it's tough as well. We have here responsibility. You have to be responsible. And I said that before in the video that anybody, depending on the governor, the way they handle it would determine their re-election status. We have here as well, we have the Three of Cups reunion. People are going to be reunited, maybe potentially a reunion of water back into the area where it used to be, right? And we also have here recognition. Recognition, maybe recognizing that global warming and climate change is a real threat. We have here reward. So I don't know what specifically the reward is. Now, this can go either two ways. And what I'm sensing is that we could either take the Hail Mary and help one another, or we could end up sending the entire land underwater, and it's all going to be because of our fault. It's going to be because of the collective fault for not caring or doing enough to prevent the disaster when it's completely preventable. It's what I'm sensing here. I sense that as of right now, the disaster is only preventable for right now. It's going to not be preventable, but you can elongate it. It really determines up and how we choose to handle this disaster. It's going to be like Katrina. I have a feeling it's going to be like Katrina. Let's ask the question. Let's see. Spirits and angels, please tell me, is this Louisiana going to experience the life that was restored under Katrina with George Bush? Okay, so we have happiness, the sun, the Seven of Swords, and ambition. Yeah, I have a feeling it is. It's going to be like Katrina, because we have here the sun in the past, right? The happiness, right? Earth used to be very happy when it was underwater. Louisiana, the ecosystem used to be very happy when it was underwater at one point in time. We have here as well, the Seven of Swords, loss. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of loss, devastating damage to the state of Louisiana, and we followed up with the King of Swords, which is ambition. Right, the ambitious hurricane, the hurricane that floods and sends Louisiana underwater. We have here as well, we have Five of Pentacles, abandonment. I have a feeling, again, I feel like the state is going to go underwater, at least most of it is going to go underwater. At least New Orleans is most likely going to dissipate, like be a thing of the past. But it was funny because I talked to my friend, I'm like, oh, I want to go to New Orleans because I wanted to go see the vampires. Every time I mention something like that, some natural disaster occurs. Always, every time. Every time I say, oh, I want to go to Bermuda, natural disaster, hurricane comes. Really weird. I'm very in tune with nature, so it's really weird. That's weird too, but whatever. All right, so Spirit and Angel, please tell me, what else do we need to know about the hurricane? What effect does the full moon have on this hurricane? Now, remember, full moon oftentimes pull in tides from the water, therefore has a stronger pull. Okay, we have passion here. Again, strength, breach. Okay, so we have here the passion of the hurricane is very strong. And I always feel like it's going to be the strongest wings. It feels like the wings of the hurricane is going to be really strong. We have here, this thing is going to be very strong. Like, it might be able to rock the state of Arkansas as well. So if you live in Arkansas and Mississippi, you better watch out because this thing is really strong. I always feel like it could withstand a lot of pressure than a normal hurricane. We also have here breach, which is a whale. What I'm sensing is, I don't know if there's a dam in Louisiana, but if there is, I have a feeling there's going to be a breach in the dam. Whatever this is, whatever they have in Louisiana, that's prevented the city from overflowing, that's going to be breach. And it's followed by intuition, the Tower card, and Page of Pentacles. So we have here, we have the intuition, right? Use your intuition to figure out where you need to go to stay safe, right? We also have here the Tower card. this town is going to go underwater either temporarily or permanently. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of water. It's going to look like a tidal wave, basically. And we have here the page of Pentacles, which is opportunity. It's an opportunity for climate change. The Democrats have to seize on the means, and by seizing on the means, they have to use this as leverage for the climate change agenda. If they don't do that, more of this is going to become more frequent if they don't push the agenda. And you have to hold the Democrats accountable the same way you will hold the Republicans accountable. But I have a feeling it's going to be quite big. This one's going to be pretty big. It's going to be like Hurricane Katrina, and it's going to be pretty devastating. Let's look at the moon, because the moon has a very strong pole here, so we're going to use the moonology to kind of get a little bit of more of an astrology perspective to kind of see how this is going to play a major role. Let's take a look. Does anyone have any questions so far? We're going to also ask, will the levees break in New Orleans? That might be the breach that you're talking about, Bobby Cakes 88. All right, we'll take a look at that in a second, because that might be the breach. All right, so Spirit Angel, please tell me, what do we need to know about the pole and the effect of the moon on Hurricane Ida in Louisiana? What is it going to be like? Can you give me a little bit of a description? Okay. Oh, I've never seen that card before. We have here, luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. That's reversed. There's no luck in Louisiana right now. And we have also here, as well as we have the half faith in your dream, whacked in crescent moon. So we actually have a wane. Actually, believe it or not, I just realized. I'm so stupid. Okay. It's not a full moon. Apparently, it's a waning gibbet. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. So that's the current phase of the moon right now. So you see here is we have half faith in your moon. It kind of looks very similar. Same thing, right? We have a new moon here, and then we have here the little waning gibbet. Kind of very similar to the thing in the back. And what it's telling me here is that there's going to be a seismic shift, a transition period. What this thing that is going on right now is sending people away from Louisiana and putting them on the path that they're supposed to be on right now. And I see a lot of mermaids energy too. We have in the past is we have step out of your comfort zone, the North Node, which is very important, very significant in astrology. That's just reverse. And we have communication, the key, new moon in Gemini. Right? You kind of see people, this is them, this is who they are in Louisiana, but this is who they can be. This is their best self, the higher self. And that is what's currently going on right now. They're communicating with the higher self. So if you feel like, oh no, I need to get out of the state of Louisiana, or there's something that's just cold in your head and you have to do it, that is your intuition. That is your guys coming in telling you need to get the hell out, basically. So that is what I'm getting in terms of moonology here. Let's talk about the levees in New Orleans. Okay. Spirits and Angels, please tell me, will the levees break in New Orleans? Let's see. Will the levees break in New Orleans? Is this what you're talking about, quote unquote, breach? Or will the levees in New Orleans break? Or be overridden by too much water? Okay, that's a lot of cards, but we'll just use that. So we have here, we have the Ace of Wands, which is growth. Okay, let me just make it a little easier to see. We have the Knight of Cups. We have manifestation. Contemplation, which is the Hermit. The King of Swords, ambition. We talked about this before. We have completion. Okay, and then let me just pull from the Earth Magic card, which is all about Earth specifically. Let me just make sure you can see this. Oh my God, you kind of can't see. Let me just move this here. There you go. So now you can see it. And then Spirit Angel Tommy, final card. Okay, DNA. And then what else do we need to know? What the levees break in New Orleans? Okay, let's see. All right, so before we answer the question, because this is a very important question, I'm holding a crystal right now. And actually ironic that I picked the crystal out of all the crystals that I have, the carbon. So this is a carbon of Pacific crystal. I want you to close your eyes and figure out what color is the crystal, what kind of crystal is it, And what shape is this crystal in? I'll give you a moment. If you need more time, pause the video. I don't want to talk for a moment. I'm going to let you kind of like breathe in, and then we'll jump into the reading. This is a little intuition test in case you want to know. A lot of you guys should get part of it right, though. This is a very common crystal that a lot of you guys probably have used or talk about periodically a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, you ready? This is a rose quartz shark carving. Actually, ironic that I picked this up, but yeah, so this is a rose quartz carving of a shark, a great white or a bull shark. I'm not exactly sure, but this is the carving. They really got the eye wrong, the carving and the eye really wrong. Don't know why they thought the eye should be by the mouth, but anyway, just like the point. So we have growth, right? This is the Ace of Wands here, the growth card. We have proposal, which is the Knight of Cups, the Magician, manifestation, contemplation, ambition, and completion. So what we have here is we have the growth, right? We have the advancement of technology. We're talking about the story of the dam, the advancement of technology with the levees. We have here the proposal, the law being put into effect, the project being completed. We have here the manifestation. We manifested that it was just going to work and that it was going to protect the area, but we didn't do much about climate change. Now, this is just the story of Louisiana and with the levees. This is what the cards are telling me. Then we have here contemplation. They're not doing anything about climate change. They're just expecting the levees to work. Maybe it's not being updated or whatnot. There might be no maintenance. I don't know exactly what the state does. I don't live there. We have here as well as we have the King of Swords, which is ambition. The ambition of the hurricane, and it comes to a completion. What's it? The Ten of Cups completion card. And normally this is a very happy card. It's about completion, but in this case, I am sensing the levees are on their way to no longer being fully functional or being what it's intended to do. So in terms of its purposes, I have a feeling that the levees are going to end up breaking down in some way or some form. Maybe this hurricane, maybe this, if the levees does not cause any disasters, the levee is going to be standing, but it's going to be very weighed down because of the hurricane. However, if it breaks, then that means that they neglected it. Now they can completely neglect it after this hurricane and the levee doesn't break. It really depends on what happened. We have here as well, we have the DNA karma, right? They're experiencing a lot of karma in the state of Louisiana. We have here summer solar, which is radiant. A lot of energy is thriving in the state of Louisiana. And we have here fog veil. It's going to be very hard to get anywhere, very hard to see where you're going. It's going to feel like, oh, I don't know where I'm going with everything that's going on. But we also have here as well, we have ceremony, which is innovation. So we can kind of prevent, basically what I'm sensing here is that we can prevent the disaster from being very bad if we put crystal energy and we prevent the worst outcome from happening. There is a possibility here, and that is at the bottom, the death from the levee breaking, that we can elongate it. We can make sure that it doesn't injure anybody, but that is something that I see right now. That's something I'm getting. I hope you like that reading. I mean, it's not that good of a reading, but you know. Will there be any tornado outbreak during the storm as it passes through Louisiana? Let's see. Actually, believe it or not, I'll talk about the tornado alley and how it's going to change in the United States, how the Northeast is going to start to get tornadoes. So we'll talk about that as well in another video. Let me just plop these in. So we'll talk about that. All right. There's so many cards over here. This is like very claustrophobic. All right. Anyway, will there be any tornadoes outbreak during the storm as it passes through Louisiana? Excuse me. Feels an answer, Tommy. Okay, I love how I keep putting it on my hand lately. Okay, we have new moon promise. Okay, so I think that's almost like a saying. Will there be tornado outbreaks during the storm as it passes through Louisiana? That's the promise. And actually, funny enough, I want to bring the book out, and I totally forgot to show you guys this book. And I want you to ask the question. It's called The Book of Answers. And what it is basically you ask the book a question. You kind of use your intuition, let your guides tell you where to stop and to open up the card, and it'll give you an answer or response to whatever question you asked in. So I am going to use this, and I used this before talking to the client, and it wasn't recorded. We were talking about the big one, the big earthquake, and I asked the book, and it said certain. like very certain, like most likely we did a couple times and it kept coming up to the same page. So let's see. Let's take a look at the tornado. Let's see what the book has to say. Okay, so Spirit Angel, tell me, would there be tornadoes outbreak during the storm as it passes through Louisiana? Okay, they told me to stop here. Shift your focus. Okay. Will there be a lot of wind current that can cause potential tornadoes to form or cyclones? Not there? Okay. Stop here. Okay. It says here, accept a change to your routine. All right, so it's telling me that there's going to be a change in terms of the way the normal hurricane functions. It is going to be because it's going to reach a category 4, Spirits and Angel. Okay. Remain flexible. So it's most likely it's going to be changing because the weather is going to become more flexible, more not rigid as a typical hurricane. So it might be multiple different types of disasters may occur within it. Hi, Clarence. What's up, love? Let's see. What the levees break in New Orleans? Let's kind of see if it's going to be accurate. Okay, tell me right here. We have here, it will create a stir. Okay, yeah. So if the levees break, it's going to create a stir. It's going to stir the pot, and it's going to become bad. Okay, let's just ask just to make sure this book actually tells what it does. Is there going to be a Hurricane Ada hitting Louisiana? Right here? Okay. Make sure. Okay, what is that? It says here, follow through on your obligations. All right, so it basically says here that follow through on your obligation. Like this was supposed to happen. This hurricane was supposed to happen. Can you get confirmation on this? It will be inadvisable. Okay, I feel like this book is talking to me in some way I don't understand. So if you understand what any of this means, let me know. Because I don't speak book. All right, anyway, let's jump back into it. Will the tornadoes outbreak during the storm pass through Louisiana? Will there be any sort of tornado outbreak? Okay. So we have here new moon promise. Most likely, but not 100%. So there's a promise here of calmness. The potentially could also mean that the book could be right and say that if you look at the sky, it's not going to be as chaotic as tornadoes, or it could mean yes, most likely. So it can go either way depending on your interpretation. We have here icebergs submerge. A lot of what causes Louisiana to flood is going to be because of the iceberg is starting to submerge and starting to melt. In the past here, we have rebirth, which is spring equinox. Right, it's going to bring back, like I said earlier in the video, it's going to be bringing back a lot of brand new ecosystem in Louisiana. Then we have here the fog, it's the veil. It almost feels like this thing that is occurring is going to act as a portal. I don't know what this portal is. It feels like a portal to something. Let's just kind of get a view and see what kind of portal this is. What portal is this? Why is there a portal here? Okay, we have a proposal. The proposal. And I have a feeling, for some odd reason, no, I never ever talked about this on my channel because I really didn't think mermaids 100% existed. But I have a feeling that there might be, and there might be coming out with a proposal of some sort to kind of reveal themselves, maybe, or maybe they may get a wash ashore. But we have here sadness, proposal, regeneration. Yeah, because we have sadness in the past. They've been mistreated by humans. We have the proposal. Then we have here regeneration. Potentially there might be a revigoration of a species. Potentially there might be mermaids or mermen. Very unlikely. It kind of feels more like it could be that, but it feels more like anything else, that there's going to be a brand new species that once existed, who now went extinct, will now be back. So potentially they may be found on the ocean floors or something like that. We actually spoke about this as well, Mindset Lorraine. We just covered that actually, believe it or not. Is there any last minute questions any of you guys have? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, let me ask specifically: is Louisiana going to be permanently underwater due to this Hurricane Ida? Let's just take a look. Stillness. So the stillness, promise, release. Okay, so it is telling me here that it's gonna look like a lake for a long time. It's because I feel like New Orleans and Louisiana as a whole, as a state, it's kind of like a lake. It's like a very swampy land. It's very still. It's been so for a long time. That's in the past. We have here a new moon. Because we're having a new moon, was actually, believe it or not, the moon is actually changing orbit. And because of that new moon orbit, it's going to bring a lot of natural disasters, especially the moon wobbler. And I actually made a video on it if you want to go check that out. This is what this is referring to, the promise card here, right? And then we have here autumn equinox release. So potentially this could mean that Louisiana could be underwater until the autumn equinox, which I believe is September 21st. So if you have the hurricane now, Louisiana might be covered in water up until that point. So it feels like it's not going to be underwater for right now permanently, but it will be soon. Because we have here as well is we have strength, right? Louisiana has enough strength to maybe withstand a couple more years of hurricane before it becomes an island, which is solitude, right? So it has a couple more hurricanes before it becomes an island. It becomes permanently an island. And we have here, this will be a reflection on humanity. Because you kind of see here the reflection, right? We have all the trees here with water and all the ice melting with all that water reflection. It's going to be a reflection on us, on the changing climate. So that is what I see. Will Louisiana be underwater? Not permanently, but for a month, yeah, it will be. But it will eventually, the water will dissipate. But it can only probably withstand a couple more hurricanes before it becomes an island of some sort. That's what I see for the state of Louisiana. So if you guys live there and live in a particular area, please stay safe. Let's send some love and light to hope that none of this happens. You know, I only do these videos to, you know, allow us to enter into a better timeline. Oh, you have another question? Was Ida created by geoengineering man-made? All right, so you're talking about, okay, let's just ask. That's a good question, actually. Was Hurricane Ida created geoengineering? Excuse me. It's actually, believe it or not, hurricanes can easily form based on genetic framing. So they don't really necessarily need a weather machine. They just need to alter the energetic compound within a particular grid. And they can easily create disasters just using energy. That's what a hurricane is. It's just an energy field. Is Hurricane Ida created by geoengineering of some sort? Is it man-made? 3 of Cups, luck, gratitude. Okay, this is all positive cards. Okay, rough healing. No. It looks like it is, but no, it's not. Because we have here is we have luck, Ton of Pentacles. Right, you have luck, Ton of Pentacles. We have the 3 of Cups, reunion. Again, I said the water is going to be exactly where it was before. You know, the United States became the United States. And we also have here as well, we have gratitude, which I believe is upright, which is the 9 of Pentacles. So I have a feeling that there's a lot of Pentacles here. We have the 10 and the 9. We have the 3 of Cups. Reunion, the water's going to have a nice reunion. It could be brand new species that form in the ocean because of Louisiana. Then, of course, we have here is it. We have the angel of the ocean or the sea, and we have healing. No, this is supposed to bring about a lot of healing to the ocean as the recognition. And then we have here the limbo. No, it's just climate change. That's what's going on. Nope, no geoengineering. When is landfall for Ida? I think tomorrow or today. Specifically, it's going to be today in like 1 minute in Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. So I have a feeling it's going to be created by, when was it landfall? Let's just ask, because why not? When is Hurricane Ida going to make landfall? Okay. We have a Ton of Pentacles and a Zero. So the Fool. The new beginning and luck. So it's going to be hitting landfall, I think, completely by 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever time zone Louisiana is in. So whatever time zone they're in, it potentially could be Eastern Standard Time. They may hit by 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure, but it just kind of says it in the cards. Oh, you gave a question too. You probably got filtered out by YouTube. I didn't see it. Otherwise, I would have said hi to you first. I gave a question too. I heard someone say that because of the solar storm and CME heading towards Earth, it will make hurricanes worse. Is that true? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I covered this actually in my video on natural disaster with solar flares. What solar flares is the combustion of energy. So Earth has electromagnetic field, and with the electromagnetic field, it kind of a protective field around Earth. And so what ended up happening is when there's a lot of combustion of energy in the ozone layer, because people are going to space, they pop a hole in the ozone layer. And because of that, now the solar flare can go into that little hole and spread its energy throughout Earth. So what the combustion is going to do, the same thing with earthquake, hurricanes and stuff like that, all that is energy. For example, earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are built up, pent up of energy that combusted over a period of time. And when those energy combusted, it changes and advances us to a higher level of ascension. Same thing with the solar flares. So when the solar flares come off, it's kind of like heat balls that fly off and go into space, and it normally heads towards Earth. And Earth's electromagnetic field pulls them into the hole in the ozone layer. And what it does is it affects the electromagnetic field because it's adding more energy than what it's outputting. And therefore, it changes the weather patterns, changes everything, changes electrical grid, can cut it down. We could be out of electricity and stuff like that. The solar flares can have massive effect on the way we do things, the way we, in our entire life. It could set us back 100 years. The last time we had a solar flare was actually in 1980, where the solar flares wiped out a lot of the weather, and there was some like winter. I think there was a minor ice age in the 80s. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't live during that time, and there was a lot of heat and stuff like that. I think that shut down temporarily, but if it happened again, it's going to be on a worldwide stage. So yes, it does have the power to power up a hurricane or make it 10 times stronger. So yes, the solar storm, also known as solar flares, can have a massive effect on Earth and its electromagnetic fields, which I actually talked about in another video, which you can check out my natural disaster playlist, which you can find all my videos there. And if you go into one of the descriptions, you'll find a timestamp that you can watch that little part if you want. You can also request a video request, and I can make a video on it. Okay, yeah, so all the power grids got overloaded and knocked out. All right, thank you. So yeah, so that is correct. That is true. All right, guys, I love you. I hope you have a very beautiful night. I won't be on for tomorrow because I'm going to have a party. I'm going to relax for maybe 2 days or whatnot. Coming back is killing me. And today I drained a lot of my energy. So anyway, I love you guys. Hope you have a very beautiful night. I hope the 3 videos that you watch are good. And I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Stay safe, by the way. Stay safe.